Mark Sponsler from StormSurf.com, and here's the surf forecast for the Hawaiian Islands for the week starting Friday, October 7th. Brought to you by your surf authority, expert advice, and friendly staff, Hawaiian South Shore. Be sure and smash the like and subscribe button, and ring the bell. You get automatic notifications when the videos are posted, typically on Friday afternoon. Be sure and smash the like and subscribe button, and ring the bell. Alright, let's get to work. We'll start by looking at wave heights on the South Shore, Barbers Point, Buoy. Pure swell, you can see energy right here spread across a wide range from 5-second period, that's like pure wind chop, the whole way up to nearly 22 seconds, impending building new swell, and a whole bunch of energy in between. You take all that energy, mash it together, primary swell comes out to be about 1.7 feet at 13.5 seconds. That's calculated to be 2.3 feet specifically, but in the real world, looking at the waves are waist to chest high, about double that. That's about what it is. So, 2.5 foot Hawaiian, something like that. Fun and rideable on the South Shore. Now, as we just said, there's energy, longer period energy building on the South Shore. That is from a gale that developed under New Zealand. New Zealand right there, Australia there, Ross Ice Shelf, Antarctica. This is way down in the Southwest Pacific. It takes about a week for swell generated under New Zealand, which is where all the real good southern hemi swells come from, to reach up into the Hawaiian Islands. And so on Friday, the 30th of September, this gale started pushing under New Zealand and built a little bit, 28, 29-foot seas, something like that, pushing to nearly 30 feet as we got into Saturday, and then the gale started fading on Sunday, moving out of the swell window. That swell is pushing to the north, expected to arrive on Saturday, the 8th. We'll get more into that in a second. Looking out beyond that, though, a series of gales did push under New Zealand, but they were all falling southeast. That's not going to do a whole lot for generating any swell looking out beyond. And since we're looking out into the future, let's just run the model the whole way out. I mean, the reality is it's starting to be summer in the southern hemi. There are no swells or storms really forecast. You need a gale with at least 26-foot seas, and there's something forecast Tuesday, Wednesday, the 12th of October under New Zealand, but the models tend to overhype this. We have little to no expectations from it, so at best, background swell. All right, now let's go take a look at the main event. That is the North Shore. We're looking at the Waimea Bay Buoy, buoy number 106. Energy, much more energy, focused in the 14-second range with wind swell underneath that. But you integrate all this energy, and you see pure swell, 3.3 feet at 14.5 seconds. That comes out to about 4.8 foot Hawaiian. Double that, that'd be 9 to 10 feet. Well, it's not 9 to 10 feet. Yes, there are some waves, maybe 4 feet overhead, something like that. But certainly it's anywhere from a couple of feet overhead to a couple more than that. Certainly rideable. This from a gale in the Gulf of Alaska. Let's go look at those details. On Tuesday, the 4th of October, a gale started developing. This is the Aleutian Islands. This is the North Pacific now. U.S. West Coast, Hawaii right here, Kamchatka, Kuril Islands, Japan. Dateline right there. Gale started developing off the eastern Aleutians with seas initially about 18, 19 feet, building to 20 feet, building up to 21 feet due north of the Hawaiian Islands. This was early on Wednesday, and then started fading from there. You can see the line of the swell right here, and it impacts the Hawaiian Islands right as we're talking now. 12Z on Friday, that's Friday morning, and that's what is producing the swell on the North Shore. So let's go look off into the future. We're going to start, though, at today, 12Z Friday. That's really about 4 a.m. in the morning, and we're looking at jet stream level winds. These are winds up about 30,000 feet. Those winds help support the formation of gales. When the gales form, help direct their track. We're looking for a trough, a dip in the jet, and you can see it plain as day right there. That helps create a counterclockwise circulation aloft and down at the ocean surface. That is the hallmark of low pressure. And of course, low pressure, if it's strong enough, generates winds. Winds, if they're strong enough, get traction on the ocean surface, generate seas. Seas, as they radiate away from the fetch area, turn into swell, and swell, when it hits Hawaii, turns into surf. So this is still, this trough, this is what made the swell that's hitting Hawaii now, and it is still continuing to circulate. It's actually getting cut off, supposed to continue into Saturday and even Sunday. You see the main jet stream flow running up here through the Bering Sea, not doing anything. But the upper low itself continues circulating. And look at this. As we get into Tuesday, it starts tapping the jet stream yet again with 170 knot winds pushing to the south, creating yet another trough as we get Wednesday into Thursday, the 13th of October, likely going to generate more surf, and the trough pushing relatively close to the Hawaiian Islands, maybe even a hint for some rainfall or something there, or some weather. And then the trough starts fading as we get into Friday, the 14th of October, but a broader trough, a more traditional winter-looking type trough, starts developing in the northwestern Gulf. So, from this perspective, it looks like the southern hemi is asleep, but the northern hemi is at least going to try. Let's go down to the ocean surface and look at the effect of those upper-level winds on lower-level winds. It is winds on the ocean, right at the surface, that generate seas. Those winds get traction on the ocean surface and produce seas. So, as of right now, small area 30 knot winds are in this cutoff low, still aimed at the Hawaiian Islands, and forecast to build a little bit as we get into Saturday. And Saturday morning, 35, 40, almost 45 knot winds are forecast for a brief period of time, all of about 1,200 miles north of the Hawaiian Islands, continuing through the day Saturday, and then fading out. That's likely to set up another pulse of swell, which, of course, is good news. Now, the low, we know, is to continue circulating because there's a new trough forecast, and here we go into Wednesday. 40 knot winds, 45 knot winds from the north aimed directly at the Hawaiian Islands. As we get into Thursday, that low kind of fades out, but then additional fetch starts building as we get into Friday, with 30 knot winds getting traction on the ocean surface. This is looking pretty good. So what's the effect of those winds? All right, well, today's Friday. We know the low's sitting here. It's still generating seas. They're not, we typically start getting excited about at 18 or 19 foot seas because that can generate like a 12 or 13 second period. This is, well, it was about 16, 17 feet. But as we get into Saturday, we know the low is supposed to rebuild. And sure enough, here we go. 21 or 22 foot seas north of the Hawaiian Islands in close proximity. Another pulse of swell likely to result. You can literally see the leading edge of that swell front pushing into the Hawaiian Islands as we get later into Sunday, into Monday. That fades out. But then yet another gale develops with 20, 22, 24 foot, 25 foot seas, something like that, building to maybe 26 feet north of the Hawaiian Islands Wednesday night into Thursday. That fades, and then yet another fetch of 19 foot seas develops. Sure looks like a lot of fun-sized surf is headed for the Hawaiian Islands. So we've covered a lot of territory. Let's try to put this all together. First, we're going to start on the South Shore. Saturday, New Zealand swell starts building to 1.5 feet at 17 seconds later in the day. That's 2.5 foot Hawaiian. Maybe we'll say shoulder to head high, something like that. Builds a little bit more on Sunday, the 9th of October, to 1.8 feet at 15 to 16 seconds midday, peaking out 2.5 to 3 feet. So we'll say head high to a foot overhead at best spots on the good tide with good winds. And then the swell starts fading some on Monday down to 2 feet, 1.5 feet at 14 seconds. So chest high, something like that. Still, another little pulse of background energy continues at 1.2 feet at 16 seconds later on Tuesday the 11th. Again, good for waist to chest high kind of surf. And continuing on Wednesday the 12th, 1.4 feet at 14 to 15 seconds, so chest high. And we suspect a good bit of yet more, waist to chest high energy is to continue, but nothing real exciting, more skill building surf. But then we look up north, the North Shore. Well, swell is hitting. We know that for sure. What's going to happen on Saturday, the 8th of October? That swell continues at 4.9 feet at 12 seconds early. That's 5.5 foot Hawaiian. That would be 11 foot faces. That's probably overstating it, but we'll say, at least 3 or 4 feet overhead sort of thing. Then more energy from low pressure that's supposed to develop on Saturday starts arriving on the Hawaiian Islands. Swell rebuilds to 4.9 feet at 12 to 13 seconds later. 6 foot, probably double overhead at good spots. And Monday, that swell builds even a little bit more at 5.5 feet at 12 to 13 seconds early, 6.5 feet, so double overhead, maybe a little bit more. Then Tuesday, things settling down a little bit at 4.2 feet at 11 seconds early, so 4.5 foot Hawaiian, a couple feet overhead or more, and fading some more on Wednesday down to 3.5 feet at 10 seconds, or 3.5 foot Hawaiian, we'll say a foot or two overhead sort of thing. But we know there's even more behind that. So the South Shore, scheduled to have fun-sized surf and even a little bit more as we get through the weekend and into the early part of the week, and continued smaller surf beyond that whole way through the work week. The focus, though, fun-size really turns to the Northern Hemisphere and the North Shore. Swell is hitting there, going to build some, and even more as we get further into the work week. Plenty of surf, either coast. Get the most you can, make the most of it, and have fun, but be safe. And do all your shopping at Hawaiian South Shore. They're there to supply your needs. All right, we'll do this again next week, same time. We'll see you then.